Global Virtual Design Sprint. This is basically informational with a little bit of Q&A. I will be ending things a little early, probably about quarter to the hour because I have another event coming up at 11. But I wanted to inform anyone that was watching this, what we're all about, what we're doing. So basically, if you have any questions during this presentation, you're more than welcome to put those in the chat. You can put them in Q&A. Also, if you're a person that used to do the Global Virtual Design Sprint in the past and want to come on to talk about your experience towards the end of this presentation, you're more than welcome to do so. But if anyone knows me, I tend to be fairly quick on these, so this is not going to be a ton of time. But there is a presentation I've done in Mural around the GVDS of what it's all about to give you a high-level view of what you need to know and consider for the event that's coming up in April. So hopefully everyone's joining this fairly healthy, happy, relaxed, enjoying vacation, not working a lot. If you could, and if you'd like to, you could put in where you're coming in from, what part of the world. And for me, I'm here in Dallas, Texas. So it would be interesting to see who on both YouTube and on Zoom here, where you're coming in from and what you're doing. So all you have to do is just start up chat in Zoom and you can tell me where you're coming from. So without further ado, let's get straight into this and I will go into the presentation. And again, if you have any questions during this, please let me know. Put those in chat or in Q&A, and either way, that should do it. Okay, so let's start with the very beginning of what is a Global Virtual Design Sprint. So this originally was done back in November 2018, and the reason why it was crafted or constructed was because a lot of people were coming out with master classes and with different certifications for design sprints, but there wasn't any way for us to all get together and practice, whether that was because of geographical location differences or just our schedules never lined up, or there was never a purpose to do so. A bunch of us had an idea to try to get everyone together online to start something virtual in the design sprint world. And back then, it wasn't really seen as viable. It was seen as nice to have, but I'd rather have that face-to-face experience. I thought differently at the time. I thought this is where it was going, where literally the process, no matter what it was, can be done in a virtual environment and done more effectively and efficiently. So the original purpose, as it's stated here, is that we want to elevate all the professionals that get together to become the best professional versions of themselves internationally. So it's not just within your locale, but it's all over the world. It's in Hong Kong, it's Japan, it's Australia, Europe, United States, wherever it may be. So if you're wondering who's it for, historically, we've attracted both facilitators and designers primarily, and some researchers. They see this as an outlet for what they can do, what they can practice, and what they're all about. But we also found that developers, full-time students, and entrepreneurs all find this particular event interesting for various reasons. Primarily for, say, full-time students, they have the opportunity to learn by doing, to see what they've done in university actually applies within a group setting. For developers, historically, it's been where they've been able to kind of marry design and development. And it's a little bit different from a hackathon in that you have a kind of a relaxed schedule to kind of go through the process of doing a design sprint virtually, where you don't have to kind of do things really, 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 really fast. And also entrepreneurs, be able to test ideas, pitch ideas to the community here and see if there's any traction or if there's interest in kind of going in a particular direction with an idea. Now, if you get involved with the design sprint, the GVDS, there's a couple of things I want to point out of this list as you kind of scan it. But the big thing is that you'll have a number of unbelievable amount of networking opportunities. Every event, there's usually anywhere from 60 to 150 individuals around the world that all have come from different disciplines. We tend to have networking events before we actually do the month-long GVDS, and you'll be able to reach out to them on LinkedIn, figure out what they're all about, see where the commonalities are, and even on the team side within the event, you'll get to know each other fairly well. Also, what sets this particular event apart from others is this is an information theater. This isn't where you have a bunch of presentations from some very smart people about what they know and what they do. This is a learn by doing approach. This is more like personal training. This is where you actually apply some of the things you've read and that you've learned in an environment with a simulated challenge or a real challenge, so that you can figure out what you're good at. If you know what you're good at, you can figure out how this technique works and what you like about it and what you can adopt for your own purposes. Now, for this particular one that's coming up in April, there's going to be a few changes from what we did this past October, in that we're going to be adopting real challenges, official challenges from real organizations. So we've had some examples from Habitat for Humanity. Goodyear's posted a few. The United Nations always has its initiatives, but we're going to be blending both the peer-based kind of challenges that we're bringing back, where a couple of events ago, we allowed participants to post their own challenge, where we're going to be combining that with real challenges that are out in the general public that may have a monetary compensation. They may just be for accolades. But there was a real desire from participants in the past to have their work matter, or to apply what they do so that what they did in the virtual design sprint wasn't going to be lost. It wasn't just going to be in a showcase. It would actually meant something, or they can carry it forward into something meaningful. So we're going to be kind of getting closer to looking for official challenges that are out in the public from various organizations and corporations, and kind of align the team's efforts with those. In our last event, we also experimented with prototyping. And if you're not familiar with that, it's Alberto Savoya's approach to testing ideas in the marketplace for their desirability. Hang on a minute. I got a call. Pause this real fast. Hey.
Hello.
Hi. Let me get you in front. Let me get you in front of Alden. Hang on. Hello, everyone. I gotta pause everything just for 2 minutes. So go get a drink if you're interested. You can kind of read up on this, and I'll be right back. Okay. So just for awareness, we were expecting a call from someone in Indianapolis that my son hasn't seen in quite a long time as a childhood friend. He was supposed to call at 9:30 my time, but he was 45 minutes late apparently, which kind of ran into this presentation. So sorry for the delay. Just one of those things that happens. Okay, so the other thing that's coming up for GVDS 6 that's going to be different from the past is we've had written instruction on the templates, and we've also had like step-by-step recordings in Loom, where basically we show people how to go from from the beginning all the way to the end. Well, we're going to add to that to help people understand how to go through the Global Virtual Design Sprint experience from the very beginning of the week all the way to the end with walkthrough guides. This is something that I've used in user research. It was a suggestion that was made by a couple of facilitators who, when they went through prototyping, they weren't exactly sure what to do. So this is going to be a way of literally giving you a script to say and walk through. So it'll go through all the motions of what you have to do for particular activities, whether it's the 4-step sketch, the sticky solution, or the sticky decision, the make a map, all of that. So it will literally walk you through verbally how you would go through things. Even if you've never facilitated before, this is going to explain it pretty much soup to nuts. So that'll be something new that'll be coming up for this April. And that should alleviate some concerns and some problems people had with understanding how to manage a group if you've never done it before. So it helped to walk you through if you're new to facilitation or you're just starting out. The event schedule that's coming up for April is that it's very similar to what we did in October, where we took the full month to kind of do the event. And for reference, it isn't something where it's going to be a ton of time. This is just to give you an overview of when certain things are going to happen. So the first week is usually a kickoff followed by a team canvas for everyone to get to know one another. Then we do some optional prototyping early so that if you want to test your ideas in the market and you know how to do that or want to learn, we give the opportunity to do that. Then the second week is going to be about research, problem framing, looking into the space that you're interested in, whether it's the homeless or it's basically world hunger, or it could be something local, whatever it may be. It's basically preparing you for what's going to happen in week 3, which is the actual virtual design sprint itself. We try to cap the online together time. We tried 90 minutes. We're going to go 2 hours this time, just so that time is reserved for some discussion, but also for decision making, and that we kind of lean towards asynchronous work when we have the event. And then finally, we do the last week is going to be spent for showcase presentations, which are where the team presents their work either to a group of people or to the general public. And we'll also feature the Spotlight Awards, which are peer-based, where teammates nominate each other for their outstanding work throughout the entire month and getting to know one another. And this usually carries forward into awards that we do on social, so that not only will they be in the event, but we'll also utilize things like LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter to essentially showcase people in their best light. That we have awards called like the most valuable practitioner, best of the best. All of those are pretty much put on social networks for people to see. In terms of a time commitment, I broke it down based upon each week that you see here, but roughly for the month, it's about anywhere from 40 to 45 hours. It is a commitment. So it isn't going to be something where you have to take time off from work or that you have to sacrifice your offline time. What I always encourage people to do is take a look at what your available time is, given all your other dependencies and all your other commitments, and see what you're able to actually commit to. Part of what we do when we do registration and when we start getting teams together is to figure out what people's available schedules are in those weeks. Usually week 3 is the most important one because that's where most of the major work goes down. And usually it's worked out so that it aligns with your available schedule. So it's not going to be where it's ironclad. You have to be available 10 a.m. to noon every single day. It doesn't really matter in that sense what time it is, but it will align with your availability as stated, so that we're not scheduling something that's going to conflict with something on your schedule in advance. And we do this in February, so it's an anticipation of in 2 months' time that you may know what your schedule is, but we'll try to make sure that everything kind of aligns with your availability. And in terms of cost, we've posted this on the website, and I'll put it here. There's different levels depending on when you get involved or when you sign up, as well as if you've been part of the GVDS before. So for people that were previous award winners, they come in at the lowest price point because they've made some time and commitment to be part of the event. They participated, they worked. People acknowledged their contributions. So this is kind of a reward mechanism built into the pricing process. Same with people who have been in the GVDS before, referrals, students, and then finally the early bird pricing that's going to start and will stop in January, at the end of January for this, and then the rest of them are there as well. Now, what we've done during the pandemic time is there were a lot of people. Well, I would say a lot. I'd say like about 3 or 4 people that were going through some real financial hardships. So it wasn't where they really wanted to get involved, but they just couldn't. So we do something called a promise to pay, where before the next event happens, which will probably be sometime in August or September, we don't ask for payment. We go through a different buy flow process. And the idea is that they're just going to basically come back before we start the next one so that they can pay what they need to at whatever price they come in on. And that's that. So it isn't about trying to put money in front of people. It's basically what's the circumstance for individuals and what makes sense. So that's essentially where things are with pricing. If you want to learn more about everything about the GVDS, there's a few links that I have here. And I'll put these not only in chat, but I'll also include them in the post post email that I'll be sending out to the people who attended this session. But I'll point out a couple of things really fast. Is that online, there's 2 major points to look at. There's the GVDS website, which has a lot of what I put in here. And it also has testimonials. It has resources here for videos of things we've done in the past and kind of explaining how the GVDS works. The Spotlight Awards for GVDS 4 are up here, but they're going to be replaced by 5 once the site's refreshed. Another thing we have is that there's a LinkedIn site for the GVDS that will be posting all of the information that comes up here. This is kind of like the public facing one, but this is also has a number of events that are coming up. So if you're interested in that, again, I'll be putting that up for people to consider. And then there's some articles listed here about the GVDS. There's also a number of community sites. We have a community practice on Slack. There's a couple of showcase videos here. And again, I'll include all these before. This goes to a YouTube channel for my company, but it basically has all of these individuals that took on particular challenges. You can watch those and see how they went about their challenges and what they did. But this is an example of how we've grouped people in the past and the kind of challenges that they've taken on. But you can look at that at your leisure later on once you get the link. And I think that's about it. There's some examples here I can go through really fast. When I mentioned the Team Canvas, this is kind of an orientation tool, and this is designed by Sandy Lamb. This is a way for teams to get to know one another, to understand their personal goals, their strengths, their values, and the needs and expectations. And to kind of put it all together here at a kind of like a visual way of kind of constructing it so that we have an idea, or the team has an idea of what they emphasize, what they're interested in doing, and why they're all here for the GVDS. And this is a really great way of kind of aligning everyone on the same page in terms of what they're all about, what they're here for, and to understand what they're really good at and what they're going to contribute to the team. Another thing that we do is problem framing. So I mentioned before that this is a way for teams to really get contextual around the context of the challenge and what they're interested in. So this also gets into the ideas that they have about the challenge and to get some early thinking about that. And finally, we have an example for day one. So if you're interested in what day one looks like, this is a modified version of the design sprint process in a virtual environment. This is an example of the teams that are there, and all of these are clickable so that you can take a look at those later. But usually there's some sort of problem statement or problem exploration that happens before the actual week. So this would be week 3 of the GVDS. And this is an example of the instruction set that's here, the video that goes step by step on how to do these. We do long-term goals by all the way from 1 month to utopia, so you can get an idea of where the sweet spot is for this particular challenge. And again, I'll zoom out a bit so you can see the whole thing. But this is an example of this team working through the ideas, which one of these ideas can be ranked by impact and effort. And that sets the stage for each particular step or each particular day of the Global Virtual Design Sprint. So that's a lot to take in, even with the family interruption from before. So 2 things: you can go on to chat and ask questions. If you've been part of the GVDS before and want to join me on the panelist side, all you have to do is make it known over in the chat, and I'll bring you over. And the templates, they're already posted on the website for the ones that we used for 5. This is what Elizabeth DeMoss was asking this question. So in here on this template side, let's go to resources. The templates are right here for like all the pre-ones. Sprint week still had to be posted. I think that was a to-do that was left after 5, but the GVDS 5 ones will be posted all in here. So you'll be able to link to those. Let's see. Albania, Chile. Wow, a lot of people from Chile. Margaret, Johannesburg, South Africa, San Francisco. Very nice. Okay. Right. Let's see. I'm just checking to see if there's any Q&A. If there's not, let me go over to YouTube, see if there's anything there. You guys are making this easy for me. And Azul's also on YouTube. You're in 2 places at once. What the heck are you doing? Again, any questions at all about the GVDS, the Global Virtual Design Sprint, and what it's all about? Again, I'll be providing the links to everything in the Learn More About the GVDS in a post email and what you should learn from that. I will tell you that the GVDS tends to be something where it's, even though it's a month long, it's a very casual kind of approach to doing work together. But I try to make it so that no matter what happens in the event, leading up to it, there's plenty of opportunity to get to know one another, to contribute, to have a voice around the kind of challenges that you're going to be doing. So it's very democratic in that regard. It's gone through 5 different events so far, and this is the culmination of everything that's happened in the past. So what I'm really excited about is the idea is, for me personally, is the for what's coming up new is this one, the moderator walkthrough guides, because I've seen how people really needed those in the past, and it'll take some time to create, but that should alleviate a lot of issues when it comes to going through the process from day in and day out from each week. For people who can't participate in April 2021, will GVDS 7 be? Andrew, that's probably going to be in either August or September. It's probably going to depend on the family and when they're going to be taking vacations. So I have to align what I'm doing with, the family and what we got planned, but we don't know yet. But usually it's around that time right before the holidays start up. We tried October, but that was a little bit late for people. And a lot of our previous participants were trying to get a lot of work out the door for their companies before the holidays. So October wasn't the ideal month to do it, and either August or probably September might be. So we may kind of reframe it for that. Anything else? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much for kind of tuning in this presentation. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll be putting that information in there in the follow-up email. You're more than welcome to also post a comment on YouTube, because I'll check those periodically. But I want to thank you very much for coming and checking this out. And again, I'm sorry for the delay that happened, but that's what happens in a pandemic environment. There's going to be delays when working from home and doing this stuff. So anyway, hope you're doing well, and enjoy the rest of your week, and Happy New Year to everybody, wherever you are in Chile and all those places. Okay. Thanks a lot. And we'll talk to you later. Okay.